Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Pak Bayu Sutikno, SE, MSM, PhD as the Thesis Supervisor, and the Honorable the Thesis Examiners. It's a pleasure to be here and welcome to my presentation. My name is Nisa Marina Maryam. I'm from the batch 79th of International MBA, and today's presentation is about my thesis with the title of Influencers on TikTok and How Their Credibility Affects Purchase Intention Among Indonesian Customers, focusing on the case of Fadil Jaidi. To start, I would like to deliver some background information about the research. The internet has become one of the most important necessities of our life, to the point where in 2023 it was recorded that the global internet users stood at 5.18 billion people. Southeast Asia was ranked 4th worldwide as the country with most internet users in 2022, with 516 million people. Contributing to that number, Indonesia in January 2023 was recorded to have over 212 million people accessing the internet. Between all social media platforms available right now, TikTok was named one of the most popular ones that in 2023 it's been experiencing a growth of 215% in brand value. Even Indonesia alone has over 106 million users on the app, and based on a survey done previously, around 65% of TikTok users rely on online reviews and creators' recommendations to decide what they want to buy. This creators' recommendations is a part of influencer marketing, and the global influencer marketing market size in 2023 was estimated to rise at a record of $21.1 billion US, which is more than double of the number in the year 2019. Therefore, what are the research problems? There are indeed a lot of research regarding marketing strategies in general, but the one particularly focusing on social media influencers are still uncommon. Even though there are research about social media influencers, they usually treat all social media platforms and influencers the same. This previous research also rarely use any moderating variable, which may affect the relationship between the source credibility attributes to purchase intentions. The research questions and research objectives of this research can be seen in the table of this slide. There are several contributions this research can give. For academicians, it can confirm that the source credibility attributes can affect how customers think about purchasing certain products. Meanwhile, for practitioners, for example, it can help marketers to choose suitable influencers whose characteristics are suitable for their product endorsements. The research scope, therefore, can be seen on the slide. This research is a replication of a study by Pornpitakpan in 2003 and also a study by Magano, Young, Oliveira, Walter, and Lead in 2022. According to Manning in 2014, social media is a tool or a platform which allows one person to communicate and engage in discussions with others. Social media is an important factor in influencer marketing. According to Dencheva in 2023, influencer marketing is a new type of social media promotion that incorporates product placements and endorsements from online content creators. The main theory that will be used in this study is the source credibility theory, which consists of 3 attributes. The first one is trustworthiness, the second one is expertise, and the third one is attractiveness. Trustworthiness, according to Erdogan in 1999, is an individual's integrity and believability, which are shaped by the perceptions of the target audience. Meanwhile, expertise, according to Borney Jr., Coley, and Haley in 2014, is a term of superior or exceptionally high level of skills of a specific task. And attractiveness, according to McGuire in 1985, is an affection for a source due to their appearance and behavior. Attitudes toward influencers, according to McKenzie, Lutz, and Belk in 1986, is an indicator of responding to a certain thing during a particular exposure situation. Meanwhile, purchase intention, based on what was stated by Kim and Co. in 2012, is a combination between interest and the possibility of purchasing a product. There are 10 hypotheses in this research. The first one is trustworthiness positively affects purchase intention because according to Weiss, Muller, Harrigan, Wang, and Sotar in 2020, influencers need to gain a certain level of trust to be considered a valuable source of information, which plays a significant role in shaping purchase intention. The second hypothesis is expertise positively affects purchase intention because according to Silvera and Ostad in 2004, a certain target market will have a higher purchase intention when they consider an influencer to have higher expertise. The third hypothesis is attractiveness positively affects purchase intention because according to what was argued by Baker and Churchill in 1977, influencers who are seen to be attractive are more likely to lead customers to develop purchase intention. The fourth hypothesis is almost the same with the first, second, and third, except the dependent variable is the attitudes towards the influencer. So trustworthiness positively affects the attitudes towards the influencers because according to Deshpande and Stayman in 1994, increased trustworthiness attribute creates more positive attitudes towards both the product promoted by an influencer and the influencers themselves. The fifth hypothesis is expertise positively affects attitudes towards the influencers because according to Siemens, Smith, Fisher, and Jasons in 2008, when customers believe that the endorser possesses a high degree of expertise, their endorsement is likely to have a more significant impact on customers' attitudes. The sixth hypothesis is attractiveness positively affects attitudes towards the influencers, and it was based by what was stated by Thiel and Bussler in 2000 that employing attractive endorsers represents an effective marketing strategy because individuals who possess appealing attractiveness tend to be more positively viewed by the audience. The seventh hypothesis is the relationship between attitudes towards influencers and purchase intention. It is attitudes towards the influencers positively affects purchase intention because according to McKinsey, Lutz and Belk in 1986, attitude affects purchase intention as one of its cause and effect parameters. Hypothesis 8 is attitudes towards the influencers partially mediates the relationship between trustworthiness and purchase intention. It was based on a previous research done by Sarah Shafa and Kastarin in 2021, which according to them, trustworthiness creates an attitude towards the influencers, which in turn ultimately guiding their purchase behavior in a favorable direction. The NIT hypothesis is attitudes towards the influencer partially mediates the relationship between expertise and purchase intention. According to Masuda, Han, and Lee in 2022, influencers' capability to showcase their expertise in endorsing product is an important predictor of purchase intention. The last hypothesis is attitudes towards the influencers partially mediates the relationships between attractiveness and purchase intention. It was based on what was stated by Zafira, Purba, Asteriani, and Susilo in 2022, which according to them, attractiveness has the ability to shape other people's attitudes in becoming a potential customer. Therefore, the research model can be seen on this slide. This research is a quantitative research in a cross-sectional time frame. To analyze the data, the researcher used IBM's Statistical Package for the Social Science, or SPSS, version 27. With the SPSS, the researcher did validity testing, reliability testing, and hypothesis testing, which includes regression and mediation. The sampling method used in this research is a non-probability purposive sampling with at least 210 respondents. These samples were taken based on several criteria. First, they have to be Indonesians in the age range of 18 to 64 years old. They have to have an active TikTok account. They have to have seen an endorsement content from Fadil JD yet never purchased any product he endorsed. Therefore, the data collected is all primary data using 5 Likert scale questionnaires. At the end, the researcher succeeded in collecting 237 valid responses, and more than half of the respondents are female, and most of them are young adults to early middle age. They are dominated by well-educated people, and most of them already have TikTok accounts for 1 to 2 years, and they spend time on the application 1 to 3 hours a day. Now about the descriptive statistics. We can see that purchase intention has the highest average value, which means that most respondents believe they will develop an intention to purchase products endorsed by Fadil Jaidi on TikTok, and they agree with the items provided in the questionnaire. Meanwhile, attractiveness has the lowest average value. Even though it's the lowest, we can still see that 4 out of 5 items of attractiveness still have average values higher than half of the full scale, which is 2.5, which means the respondents lean to the agreeing side rather than disagreeing. Attractiveness also has the highest standard deviation, which means that the variable has the widest variety of respondents' answers. Meanwhile, purchase intention has the lowest value of standard deviation, which means that the respondents' answers tend to be the most similar compared to the other variables. The KMO value of this research surpassed 0.5 and even is quite close to 1, which means there is a presence of a strong partial correlation and an overlap between the degree of information among the variables. Therefore, the samples can be considered as adequate. Not only that, the value of Bartlett's test is below 0.05, which means there is no homogeneity between the samples, confirming correlations between the variables in the study, and further analysis can be executed. The first test done in this research is the validity testing, which has an important role to assess whether the items used within the questionnaire can be proven that they cover the actual area of the variables and measure what is intended to be measured. Based on the rotated component matrix table on the slide, we can see that all 21 items of this study have the value of factor loading spread evenly according to their groups. All of them are also valued above 0.5. This means that the items in the study are considered to be valid and each factor can be interpreted clearly. The second test was the reliability testing, which was carried out to find the consistency from the respondents' answers through the questionnaire. Based on the Cronbach alpha of the variables, we can see that all variables are considered acceptable since all their Cronbach alpha's values are above 0.6. For the hypothesis testing, the researcher used two types of regression methods. The multiple regression was used for hypothesis 1 until 6, and the simple regression was used for hypothesis 7. Based on the result of the adjusted R-square of hypothesis 1, 2, and 3, we can say that 13.4% of purchase intention can be explained by trustworthiness, expertise, and attractiveness. We can also see that hypothesis 1, 2, and 3 all have positive regression coefficient. All their t-statistics values are also above 1.96, and all their significance values are below 0.05. Therefore, hypothesis 1, 2, and 3 are all supported. Same as hypothesis 1, 2, and 3, hypothesis 4, 5, and 6 also use multiple regression. Based on the result of the adjusted R-square, we can say that 9.7% of attitudes towards the influencers can be explained by trustworthiness, expertise, and attractiveness. Hypothesis 4, 5, and 6 all also have positive regression coefficients. Their t-statistics are all also above 1.96, and their significant values also below 0.05. Therefore, hypothesis 4, 5, and 6 are all supported. Hypothesis 7, on the other hand, used the simple regression, and according to the result of the R-square of hypothesis 7, we can say that 7.1% of purchase intention can be explained by attitudes towards the influencers. We can see from the table that the regression coefficient of hypothesis 7 is also positive. The t-value is above 1.96, and the significance value is below 0.05. Therefore, hypothesis 7 is also supported. For hypothesis 8, 9, and 10, the researcher used two types of mediation model. The first one is Sobel, and the second one is the process macro by Hayes. Looking at the results of hypothesis 8, 9, and 10 using Sobel test, we can see that the p-values of the indirect and direct effects are all below 0.05, which means all of them have partial mediation effects, and therefore they're all supported. It's also proven by the results of the process macro test. We can see that the ranges between the lower level of confidence interval and the upper level of confidence interval from hypothesis 8, 9, and 10 all do not include 0. That means they're all significant and have partial mediation effect. After getting all the results from the hypothesis testing, we can summarize it into a model just like on the slide. The conclusions that can be drawn from this research is first from the perspective of trustworthiness. Customers are more likely to accept product recommendations from a dependable, reliable, and honest influencers. From the perspective of expertise, customers are likely to trust someone with a reputation of mastering specific fields based on their knowledge, skills, and qualifications. From the perspective of attractiveness, an attractive influencer is more compelling and suitable for brands aiming to convey messages through endorsed products. It can also be said that attitudes can be a guide to create reactions and decisions, which influence customers to be persuaded by influencers who consistently provide honest, transparent, knowledgeable, and appealing product reviews. It will ultimately leading to a higher likelihood of making a purchase. There are some managerial implications that can be learned from this research and then applied in real life. First, marketers can prioritize influencers who have built strong relationships with their audience, emphasizing transparency in their communications and communicate through personal experiences. Marketers can also implement mechanisms to analyze customers' reactions, such as customer feedback and engagement metrics, in order to monitor how attached the audience are with the influencers. Even though after they have chosen the influencers they want to work with, they can encourage the influencers to position themselves as a credible source by sharing valuable insights, tips, and information related to the product to encourage informed purchase decisions. By noticing how important attractiveness is, marketers can strategically select influencers with a strong and attractive personal image that aligns with the brand's values and target audience. After knowing how much credibility affects purchase intention, marketers can therefore recognize the most suitable influencers for their product based on overall credibility of the influencers and how customers see them. There are still some limitations from this study, such as first, the questionnaire itself was only spread through social media, which means it mostly reached young adult respondents because they are the ones who use social media the most, and therefore the age range of the respondents is less diverse. The respondents in this study are not divided into different industries. Padojadi actually did a lot of endorsements of different products or services from different industries, but yet the purchase intention variable in this study did not differentiate the customer's intention to buy different products. Therefore, the future research suggestions are based on those limitations. First, make sure to spread the questionnaire to a larger sample to get more diverse and unique data to represent the whole population more. Second, find other factors that may affect attitudes towards influencers and purchase intentions. It is also suggested to do this research to other influencers on other social media platforms, including various influencers with different backgrounds and endorsement techniques. Lastly, the suggestion involves comparative studies across different industries in order to understand how influencer credibility varies in its impacts on purchase intention, because different industries may respond differently to different influencers. That's the end of the presentation. Again, it's such an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you for your time and attention. Have a great day.